Do you think people hold animosity towards the people that grew up and they felt like so, like, do you think women hold animosity to women they feel like had it easier? And do you think men hold animosity to men they feel like had it easier? And do you think that plays out in opportunities or them trying to limit things out of that anger or you know, feelings coming from stemming from that place?
Let
I
me
think it
see.
really happened with women for sure, with the light skin, dark skin thing. The light skin, dark skin girl, that whole pretty girl. Oh, she light skin, she thinks she pretty, blah blah blah. I think that's for sure. For guys, I don't know. I feel like with guys, it's a little different, but with women, absolutely. I think they got that light skin, dark skin girl thing, you know, since elementary school, if not before that.
So do you think men get jealous of other men?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What are
yeah.
the
I
What do you
think
things they
mean?
they
What do
see?
you mean by jealous?
They see you have something that they want and it pisses them off. They feel like you're in a position that they should be in or that you don't deserve something. Um, they harbor animosity and wish negativity on you, like they wish you fail.
No,
Um,
I don't think
men
most men
men
do
don't
that.
do that.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think most
most,
men
but
do
I
that.
do think men do it.
It's a
no man
human
definitely.
experience. You're trying to now it may be expressed differently, but definitely because I see what was that? I don't know that guy's name, but we played that clip on here before where that guy who was talking, he was trying to talk to the other guy about taking care of his household, saying that
Yada.
yeah, man's responsibility to take care of the household, and you're not a man if you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And the guy, you could see he came out, he was just like, not everybody grew up easy and had it like you had it. So you don't know what you're talking about. Like that kind of stuff that you could clearly see that there was a level of like he was mad that he wasn't in that situation to be able to do that. I do
Yeah, but
definitely think
Yeah,
guys
I think that's
definitely
a little different though.
no, see, that's what I'm saying. We're trying to make a different assumptions, but it's the same outcome. Guys
Yeah,
do
no, I agree.
hate
I agree.
on other guys because I've heard successful dudes talk about how, man, I thought dude was my friend, while all the while he was in the background, like hating on the nigga, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
try to
backbone.
sabotage, sabotage certain things that they do because they're envious. And
Yeah,
I've seen that firsthand with my brother and his friends. Like one of his friends was upset because he felt like he was a better ball player, and his dream was to go to the NBA and do all of this stuff with basketball, and he didn't make it. And you know what I'm saying? My brother did. And my brother, that really wasn't his passion. He didn't really know what he wanted to do, but it just kind of he was blessed. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
and on the back end, his friend was in the background really hating on him. And a lot of times you can hear that guys are trying to play jokes like they're joking. Like, oh, that nigga know if he wasn't a such and such, he knew he wouldn't even have access to them girls. Like Marcus can have dudes like them girls wouldn't even be interested in him if he wasn't playing ball. So they hate in a different way. They try to act like they're playing, but they're serious.
No, that
yeah,
should be 100% serious. And I,
yeah,
st- I like I done experienced that a lot. So I be hypersensitive to it. Like my whole thing is if we friends, I want you to win. If you're in a position that's better than me, hopefully you want me to raise up and come up. I feel that way about them. If I'm whatever level I'm at, I would love for you to be at that level or higher because I'm not a hater. But there are a lot of people who don't want you to win. They want you to lose. They don't want to win. They just want you to lose. Like
hmm
you gotta separate yourself from that. Like people that can't be happy for you, or people who don't celebrate your wins with you, or if you feel a way about telling somebody something because you feel like you're gonna make them like it's hard to maintain friendships when if I have good news, I can't share it with you because I feel like it's gonna make
yeah.
you
You gonna
angry.
be jealous. Yeah, I think even with the Yada example, like with him, I think that when I think I seen that the segment that you're talking about. But you know, that topic can be extremely sensitive for men, especially with it being regurgitated all across the internet. So let's say this guy is in a tough spot, in which we all experience at some point in time in life, and you got this nigga sitting across from you like, oh well, I gave my wife $250,000 before we got married and all of this, and it's like, bro, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? Now you're coming at this man's manhood. So the only instinctive thing that a man is going to do is attempt to defend himself in whatever type of way, just because of how he's delivering it, as we talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying? So if you taking a direct jab at him, then of course that's gonna trigger anybody.
So what I find interesting about that is now, because not you, but a lot of men will say feelings don't matter, only facts. I don't care how you deliver a message. But when y'all is delivering his message, everybody was mad at the tone in which he delivered it and what he was saying. I don't know if you noticed that, but a lot of people, I mean, what he was saying was kind of bogus. I agree, but I'm just saying a lot of people had an issue with the tone that he was taking and the way that he was
Yeah.
speaking to that man. But when we
I
get
mean,
online, a lot of
on
times
some
people
real
feel like
shit,
tones don't
if
matter.
we in the street, you talking to me like that, bro, you got one more time to say something, we gonna have to scrap.
So I asked this:
if tone and delivery doesn't matter and you need to focus on a message, why
Do
would
you
you
feel?
Oh,
And
With
people
Viz,
didn't
like
agree with the
Viz,
message either.
Viz, do you feel tone and delivery matter?
absolutely.
Okay. What about you, HD?
Ye- To say yes or no, I would say yes, it matters. But I also want to add a caveat that it depends, because if you're on a football field and somebody's yelling at you, telling you get your stuff together, your tone, no matter how you say it, you hear the message. And I just think that it sometimes just depends on who you're talking to, because most men, it doesn't matter how you package the statement unless you feel like you're being disrespected. But if you're able to just listen to this person and you're not an easily offended person, even if this person says something that's offensive to everybody else, you're not going to be offended. So, because that's my hard thing in these conversations, because like, if you're not a person that's offended by things, it doesn't matter what anybody says. If you can listen to a person's point and separate what they're saying versus how they're delivering it, you'd have a very different perspective on the conversation. But because everybody puts things in a pot, like this conversation that Miss Taken just brought up, she moved it to what men are seeing as accomplishments or stuff that he's doing, when we were talking about more so attractiveness. Brothers understand an attractive brother, or he's tall and stuff like that. Like, we understand that. But when we're talking about like somebody that you're close to and how that affects how you might feel like, dang, I work as hard as he works, but he's better. He's got things more than me. Or you see this guy that comes out of nowhere talking about, man, she shouldn't have to work. You a bum, you soft, you trash, because you're not a true man, because you can't provide everything for your woman. You don't even deserve to be married. Like, these are very different things when it comes to the way that men look at jealousy or envy. But too many times we mix a lot of stuff together that you can separate all the time. But for me, like, I don't think most guys are looking at dudes and being like, "Ah, that's an attractive dude. Like, that's a fly dude. Like, I can't stand that dude." Like, unless you're just the type of person that just, you ain't got no self-esteem and no confidence. But most guys that see fly dudes or brothers that's getting it and that's out here doing something and looking fly, we'd be like, shoot, I gotta step my game up. Let me go find me a suit. Let me go get me a nice watch. Let me get me my whip game proper and make sure that my stuff is nice. Cause it's like, honestly, us men, we like to be filled with accomplishment. Like, we like to do things that make other people be like, that dude's worthy of respect because of what he accomplished.
I think that you're talking about yourself. I
No,
do
no, I'm
see
talking
that
about men in general.
no, not yeah, people like you. But I yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
what
you're not so
you
there are different
you
types of
people.
men. So what I'm saying
You don't mean it as a diss. What she's
it's
talking
not
about
this. I'm
is
saying
the
people
way
who
that
speak
he's
on the
thinking, his
mentality of him.
mindset. He's
Yes.
referring that to the same group of people like him that have that same
Right.
mindset.
Because I've
No, no,
seen
no, no,
it.
no, no.
Let me
I'm
finish. Let me
talking
finish.
about the attractiveness portion, not the accomplishment portion.
Oh, right. So that's what I was going to say. I agree with you. I don't think that it's the attractiveness that gets people that makes them jealous. I do think it's the accomplishment. I think we got to stop comparing men to women. I think women we
Absolutely.
put attractiveness on a pedestal, and for men we put accomplishment on a pedestal. So let's talk about the men's side, which is the accomplishment. I do see that there are men who, and I even saw it in college. I remember there was a fight. And this one guy who we call them locals. Y'all know when you're in college, you call them locals. And I remember he stepped to him and he said, "What you think you better than me? Because you all in, you know." And I remember that. And he shot him in his, let me tell you, he shot him in his mouth. And that was the conversation.
Which person?
You said what?
Who shot who in the mouth?
The local. This was a kid who, and it was like his first week of school. He was a freshman at the school. And I remember that was a block party. And so to say that does not happen, and I remember that very well, because it was traumatizing. That's crazy. That happens. And it's a small
happens.
level. That's just going to school. So you know, even when we see these people who make it big, you know, and whatever, they always say like they homie was jealous, set them up. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear that all the time. We're not gonna play like that's not a thing. It may not be in your group. It may not be anybody in the chat who's, you know, they may not do that, but those people do exist.
No, it absolutely happens, and it happens every day.